Hey, welcome to RobbyLobby SwingVision series. Today we'll be talking about how to use SwingVision's mount to set up your phone for recording. SwingVision has actually put up a very nice video on how to enable the features to get recording, so we won't be covering so much of it, but I'll be talking about some practical tips that I use to ensure that the recording gets started successfully. One of the most important things to start is like not to do with SwingVision, but making sure that you get permission from your opponents or partners to make sure that they're okay with that. Because this is still a new app and people have right to their privacy. Sometimes they may not be okay. Make sure you explicitly ask permission. I've recorded close to 200 matches and not a single time anybody has said no. In fact, maybe a couple of times people were shy, but when I explained it to them that you really don't catch the faces and all that much, they were okay with it. They just asked politely not to post on YouTube or a public channel. So it's always good to ask. So today I'm going to be hitting with my partner, Margaret, over here. Let's see how, since she has not seen SwingVision, are you okay with recording? But if not, what questions come to mind?
I would ask, is this going to go on YouTube? How many followers the channel has that you're posting it on? And then are you going to use my name or my thing too much?
These are all fair questions. One thing you can do to put them at ease is show the application. People think it is just another app to record the video, but you show them the first feature I always share is for somebody who's not used the app, the most important thing is how SwingVision cuts down all the dead time and you can just see the matches. Show them a couple of points, the statistics of ball speed and some shots, and maybe a filter option. Most of the time they get hooked. When setting up, decide where to set up. In this court, there are two options to install it. The fence behind over here, which has a nice tall post standard height, or similarly on the other side. The first important factor is the direction of the sun. You want it so the sun is not on the camera. In this particular situation, this fence becomes the optimal choice because sun is right behind over there. On a given day, I would mount it in this fence. Now, in this court, I play a lot of nighttime matches, but during nighttime, I prefer to mount it on that fence. For the simple reason is the building behind, the white building is distracting. So if I mount the camera on the opposite side, the building will show. Whereas if I mount the camera on the fence over there, what we'll see is this nice trees background, which is dark. So the ball shows up well. So I would prefer mounting it there unless sun is an issue. Sun is a major factor. But if it's not, then consider is when. Why? Because if you look at most courts, the courts have windscreens like these. As you can see, the courts have windscreens. The challenge with these windscreens is they are not well anchored. So if the wind is blowing from that side, it will balloon it one side and it will make, I'll show in a second. Let's go to the setups. If you mount it over there and if the wind is pushing it, it'll push the camera, the pole away, and you will be missing out a lot of recording. In these situations, find a side where, let's say if the wind is coming from this side and it's pushing away, then probably mounting it on the other side is better because, or if let's say the wind is in this direction, then the wind will be pushing the net into the fence. So this side's become a more appealing option in that case. You'll have to consider the sun. If that's not a factor, then the wind. Minor things over here. If you look at the fence position, these edges are not always straight. Over time, they become bent. You want to find a position where it will still make the mount stay square. You're supposed to mount it along the midline with the midcoat here, align the camera along the midline. SwingVision is little forgiving, so you don't have to be exactly to the edge. So let's say if this is the place, but the nice hook is somewhere over here, you're better off mounting it a place so that the camera doesn't get pushed away. Let's say this is the only location you can mount and the wind is moving it away. If it's really windy, your phone acts as a little sail and it helps, it pushes the stick to the side, it gets swayed by the wind. And sometimes when you turn back, you will see your stick move like this or moved out like this. And that's really annoying because you lose footage or it's not pointed to the court, right? So, one little hack I do is I carry a couple of extra rackets, on, like most of us do. So, I bring it here and use some wristbands and use those rackets to anchor the mount. So, if you put a couple of rackets with all the added weight at the top, they usually do the job. So, you don't have to, even if it gets pushed like a pendulum, it'll come back to the original position. One of the first things you do is position the phone holder at the right angle forward. The SwingVision has given nice markers. There are three markers. But you have to figure out which one works for your court setting and remember that. In my case, if I keep this line just below the bottommost line of one of the three lines, it works best for me. So I move that way and tighten it. So this is my setting. Since this offers flexibility, you might be confused of where this should go. You can mount the phone with this angle, or you can completely turn it around and still mount it. Now, if you position it like, it'll still work on the fence. The only problem is the phone is leaning towards the ground. Gravity might pull it down. I feel it's a little unsafe that way. What I prefer is turning it away so the weight of the phone is held by the fixture. This way, the phone is pushing towards the fixture. So I feel safer when you do it that way. The phone will have to be flipped. So the cameras are pointing to the court. All right. So this is my preferred way of mounting. You all want this last adjustment height extended as much as possible. Because that gives a better perspective. Once you have the mount set up, even before you launch the app, I recommend setting it to exercise focus fitness mode or airplane mode. The reason is if while recording, if you get a call or recording will get disrupted, I recommend putting it in this mode and make sure your battery saver mode is on because the app does consume a lot of energy. And if you're running it for matches, you don't want it to run out of battery. An important tip is as soon as you start recording, go to your Me tab and then go to settings. And you would see this optimize storage over here. You click that. Now it will delete all successfully uploaded sessions from the phone. If you're recording at 4K, a 2.5 hour match would take about 50 gigs or so. And even at 1080p, it takes 10 to 15 gigs. So if you don't have much storage, make sure you clear. If you're using it mostly for SwingVision, that's probably the biggest culprit. Clear storage from your phone so sufficient storage is available. After that, go to record. One of the common things that I miss is that I will select the match, but I will forget whether I'm doing a doubles match or a singles match because I play both singles and doubles quite frequently. And sometimes it will just record as singles when I'm actually playing doubles. Then I cannot tag properly. Make sure that is correctly chosen. When you press start, it will bring up the screen. If you have your Apple Watch, you can pair it and you can even start the session from your watch. But if you don't have it, then you can force press by pressing this and say start recording immediately over here or wait for watch in this case. Okay. One tip here is, let's say you don't have Apple Watch and you're not sure. So zoom out quite a bit. So you can see over here, you have plenty of zoom range from 0.5 to 3x. I found 0.7. It gives good coverage of the court. So subsequently, and still you can watch the match with sufficient details. It works for me. That's about it. So because this pole is nearly 8 feet long, so if it's fully extended, it is still an awkward thing. And when your opponents are watching, you don't want to mess with it. So an elegant way to unfold is do all the setup while it is still collapsed. Extend this first, then extend one at a time. So you're still in control. Extend to the right level and mount it. And once it's there, you can come and look in your watch. And if it shows the red line that's not set properly, you can zoom using the watch. If you see all green, that's good to go. So then you may press start. But as soon as you press start, wait for confirmation. So it asks for who is tossing to record who won the toss. The ting sound is very important. That confirms the recording is started, and getting this message is important. So now you're sure that the app has started recording. There have been quite a few matches where I thought the recording started, but then I realized that it had not because I confirmed, especially the days before I got the Apple Watch. So that's it. I hope I've given you some information to complement what SwingVision has put out there, and hopefully this was useful to you. Happy hitting. Have a great time.